All right, everybody, good morning. Hopefully you can hear me all right. Let me know how the volume is doing. It's 9:15 a.m. Eastern on Wednesday, April 30th. Voice is coming back slowly, which is nice. What a call. The end of day analysis, pretty solid there. You see how we shift from one second, I got to get the drawing tools up here. We shift from bullish to bearish and back and forth, based on what we're seeing on the analysis. And sometimes we don't really have a bias as to what's going to happen, but we were grinding higher here. So on Tuesday, we thought that we would pick up support and push higher. We did. And then last night, heading into today, we were bearish. The NQ was a little tricky, but the reason we were bearish NQ was because we were also getting that very clear flash signal on ES. And we talked about this in the end of day analysis yesterday. There was the flash. These things will tip you off, guys. And we were right at the core DML on the weekly ES. So this is how you can use these markets together, right? So the ES flash tipped us off on the Nasdaq. And that turned out to be a really good call. I wasn't, it wasn't something that I was willing to fully bet on, but just being on the right side of the market is a nice blessing, right? Keeps you on the right side, keeps you looking at things from the right side, and that's really important. So let me know if you guys can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you see my screen? Yo, Gluey, what's up, dude? Yeah, I'll answer your question later. Maybe I'll bring it up on stream. But you can post those questions in the trading chat, Gluey, and you get like 5 people that'll give you their feedback. Mr. America, what's up? All right, cool. Glad you guys can hear me. So it's nice to be on the right side of the market. That helps trading a lot. And that's kind of the way we operate here is, there are some days where we just say, look, we don't know. We don't have a bias. There's cross currents. Charts are messy. We're not going to, really trade much. And that's okay. That saves you from taking dumb trades. And then there are other days where you've got the bias and it's correct. And, oftentimes when we've got our bias, it's correct. So that's nice to see that working. So we've got basically the indices down pretty good. This is probably the start of daily. We'll see where we close today, but I mean, probably get a little bit of a daily trend reversal to the downside the next couple of days. Especially right now, what I said last night in the end of day analysis here for ES, we were probably going to go back, right? I said we're cycling from that core resistance DML down to that congestion DML at the envelope top. So I said we're probably cycling from here back down to here. Well, we've already done that in a hurry. So now the question is, if this starts to break, then we're going to definitely come down here to the middle of the envelope. I shouldn't use words like definitely, but there'd be a strong probability that will come down to the true average middle of the envelope if this key level we're at right now starts to break. Would we go there today? Who knows? We've seen big days, but definitely the bias all day will be to the short side. Hey Zuhair, yeah, no, these are cool. Glad you've been watching the vids, man. Yeah, these are my indicators that I developed, so I'll talk a lot about them during the stream. Yeah, we're gonna trade Nasdaq, so we're day trading Nasdaq today on the intraday volume-based Sierra chart. So I'll bring those up in a second. Right now, I'm just kind of laying the groundwork, but welcome. Good to have you here. Yeah, I know the charts look a little funky, but trust me, once you get used to them, they beat the shit out of bull flags and bear flags. So you'll be happy with what you what you can see with these charts. But yeah, welcome, man. Yeah, I trade news days, dude. Yep. I don't trade the news. I wait till the open, but I trade news days. So with Nasdaq here, it's kind of the same thing. We're probably headed to at least the congestion DML right here, which is, down around, let's get that exact number. Maybe, 19,049. Can we get there today? Maybe. So we're going to be looking to short rallies today, guys. It looks like that's the game plan from last night's end of day analysis. And that'll be the game plan all day. And I'll trade my Tradeifys pretty aggressively. Thanks, Suhair. Appreciate that, man. I'll trade the Tradeifys pretty aggressively today, you guys. I'm willing to take a big hit on them. If I do, I don't care because I've got clarity on what's going on here from the short side. So I'll look to add another decent sized day, and I'm willing to accept if I take a big hit. That's cool. So I'm going to take some risks today. We'll do it live on stream. I think we'll have some good trading. I put my charts back to 50,000 here. We did 20,000 yesterday in the power hour stream just for fun to speed it up a little bit. But now we'll go 50,000. Let's go ahead and jump in here, and we'll go 10,000. This is our normal setting for Nasdaq. 10,000 volume. 50,000. There you go. So let's let this load here. So we're going to open here in about 9 minutes, and I'll be looking for a good bounce on the 10,000 volume chart to get short. We've already dropped about 500 points. It's a pretty good overnight drop. I know most of it came after the news that just came out, but you can see on the 50,000 here, we've got, we're trending down now on the 50,000 volume bar chart, right? Big negative footprint here, which obvious, you get that big bar down. But the key levels that we broke for VolPro Edge, the extension here and the core here, I mean, these are pretty key levels to look at now if we bounce, because I don't know, based on what I'm seeing today on the daily, I don't know how much of a bounce we're going to get. So we're going to have to pay close attention to these levels here, and then look for strong resistance on our 10,000 volume bar chart. Let's quickly just go over to the daily again, just to see here with Nasdaq on the daily, pulling back up 19,348. I mean, it just depends. Are we going to pull way back up here? I don't think so, because I think a lot of people are caught off sides on this move. This is kind of like this move here, guys. So this is what I call scenario analysis, and some of you heard me talk about this before. So here, remember when I called this drop down on that daily close? I said, guys, we gapped lower. I said we're going to have a big move to the downside today, right? And we did. Remember that? And when that happened, if you go back and look at that day and you see, how big were the pullbacks? Well, let's go check that day, because I think we're going to see a day like that today, and we want to get scenario analysis. We want to see, generally speaking, what happened on a similar type of day, right? So that day right there was, I guess that was Wednesday, April 25th. So let's go back to that day. If that was, I don't think that was the 25th. Let me check. Let me just make sure. Oh, I see. No, that was 15th of April. My bad. I misread it. 15th. So let's go back to the 15th of April, and let's see here the price action on that day, because the scenario analysis will give you a pretty good idea, I think, of what we're going to expect today. So okay, so it was on the 16th. So there's this day here. You had the gap there, so that's a little different. And then you pulled back. This was overnight. So you can see on this particular day, we had a similar move heading into the New York Open. The previous daily close was, let's call it 18,950, and then we were already down like 450 points. And then New York kind of chopped around, and it didn't accelerate, didn't make the next drop until the afternoon here, right? So, we'll see. On that day, you ended up dropping 18,950 to a low of 18,1. So, you dropped a solid 800 points, 850 points. You can see the market didn't really go against you too much. So I think on a day like today, waiting for a 50,000 contract pullback probably not going to happen, right? So we're going to have to, anytime we see really good opportunities to short on the 10,000 volume chart, we're just going to have to take that as long as it's in a reasonable 50,000, spot, right? And it may even be in no man's land. So that's kind of how I'm going to look at it, because I just don't know if we're going to get a big pullback. Does that make sense? Yeah, Aaron's going to short if we get a nice pop at open. I think so too, buddy. I'm going to look for a short. Do you have any levels, Aaron, that you like? Yeah, I'm looking for a short. I want to see, for example, these 10,000 volume charts. I just give a little scenario analysis. There's this one here. Probably wouldn't short here because that's your congestion entrance bar, but I'd be looking for like if we got a 2-bar pop and then started to like roll over or something like that, then I'd be looking to short back down like that. 320-ish. Yeah, that's not a bad spot. I'd look up there, 320, 340, anywhere up there when the 10,000 starts to confirm for sure. Morning, Adam. Morning, Christian. Zuhair, welcome, dude. Gluey, guys, good to have you here. Happy you're all here. We got the Tradeifys locked and loaded. And I'll just copy trade 1 NQ on these. I'm pretty much giving myself, a big loss budget today, just to be able to keep firing away. And Adam, I saw you had a really nice trade overnight. Good job using the end of day analysis nicely. And yeah, you'll be able to get better entries on the volume charts, Adam. So just when those are ready, it makes it a little easier than using the 15-minute, in my opinion. So Aaron, you're gonna short one at 320, and if we keep moving, build a position with another one or two at 3. Yeah, that's not a bad play for today. I don't usually dollar cost average, but on a day like this, I would definitely consider dollar cost averaging. It's not my type of style. I'm not really good at dollar cost averaging. Aaron is great at dollar cost averaging, so that's why he does it. But on a day like today, it's you could consider it if you're willing to hold through, some pullbacks. Nice, Zuhair. Yeah, join the Discord, man. There's lots of good stuff in there. Lots of really cool people in our Discord. People that are actually learning how to use VolPro Edge and using it to make money, because it's not like the Trade with Andy show. I'm just here showing you guys how I use my indicators, but a lot of people are using them in their own way and doing really well, which is cool. So yeah, awesome. So Aaron, tempting to get in here before open. Yeah, but these guys might want to rip it 100 to the upside before the open. Yeah, cool. We got good energy here. Really good energy. It's a good group of guys. Thanks, man. Yeah, Adam, nice. Yeah, look, your analysis, I'll call people by their name, AB, so people know who I'm talking to. AB, he had a great overnight short because he used the end of day analysis video that I did. I said, guys, look for shorts, And do we have more news coming out as well, Aaron, or is that pretty much the news for the day? All right, guys, market's going to open here in about 55 seconds. Oh, sorry. Okay, I missed that, Ralph. Min drive, PC 10, got it. Okay. So that'll be big too, right? So big news day. So remind me, guys, I'll be in the zone streaming and trading and talking to you guys. I'll probably forget that PCE is at 10, so please remind me before PCE comes out. All right, so we're going to open here in 20 seconds-ish. Where'd my clock go? I don't know. I gotta watch this, Louis. These prices are correct. TradingView shouldn't be different. You might be on delayed data, Gluey. You might have to activate your data services. So you might be on delayed data. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, exactly, Ralph. Because my trading view, let's see if I go to 268. Yeah, my trading view is correct. So it's probably that you haven't activated the data GLUI. All right, well, there's a little bit of a pop up in there, but you know, I'm waiting for closed 10,000 bars. I don't go in intra bar. That's kind of my little rule there, but that's the way I do it. Yeah, no worries. It's like $7 a month, I think, for the TradingView data. Something like that. So I'm just waiting. I'm gonna just wait for, like, on our 10,000 chart, I'm waiting for stuff like this where, you know, here you got congestion entrance up right here. You say, would you short that? No. Number one, it's congestion entrance up, change in trend. Got to be careful. Number two, you're breaking our key resistance levels here with VolPro Edge. Don't short there. Okay, this bar here, would I short this? I don't think so, because you're still kind of outside the envelope nicely. You broke the congestion DML there. But then this one here, this is kind of a nice giveaway. You challenge these two DMLs, close back down in here. You're right at this one, true average. You know, that's kind of tipping you off that this is the end of this move. That's a good spot to try and get short and catch the next move down. We're not going to nail them all perfectly like that, but those are the kind of things I'm looking for today. Strong congestion resistance zones. Morning, Lily Ocean. How are you? The cough came back, Lily. It's crazy. It's almost like it's manufactured or something. It just cycled through and came back, which reminds me, I got to take more Ivor. I took a couple last night. It did help. So I got to take a couple today. How's my volume coming through, everybody? Is it coming through all right? Morning, Dave. Good to have you here, man. Yeah, it's as if, Lily. It's almost like it was made in a lab. Well, I think actually now it's come out that it was. So it's crazy. Volume is great. Okay, good. Thanks, David. I appreciate that. All right, so we're just waiting to short rallies. I don't know if you saw the end of day analysis yesterday, David, but you see how the end of day analysis, you know, usually keeps us on the right side of the market. And that's obviously a helpful thing. So now we're just waiting for some pullbacks, guys. Try to stay a little patient. Don't get FOMO. Wait for a little counter trend move. Get short like this. Because we've already dropped, you know, from the open yesterday. Well, let's say the close, 19,650 to a low of 19,250. I mean, that's 400 points. So you just kind of got to expect a little bit of a relief rally right now. You know, I'd be, and that's the question too, is like, well, would you go long down here? I mean, I wouldn't, because I like to trade in the direction, you know, that I think the daily and the weekly are going. So I just wait and stalk the shorts. But some of you, you know, who are scalping or trading faster time frames, you know, you'll be able to find good moves either way. So Aaron, I followed Andy's end of day analysis and made 1K so far. Nice, bro. Awesome. I love hearing that, dude. And guys, Aaron's over 100,000 in payouts now using VolPro Edge. So that's awesome. He's my first 100K guy, which is cool. Top Step TV had to reschedule with Aaron. I don't know, they had a scheduling conflict or whatever, so he was going to be on Monday. So we'll see when they have him back. But that would have been cool. It's a bummer they had to reschedule, but sometimes they do that. They did that with me back in the day. They invited me on. I was like, yeah, I'll come on. They're like, sorry, we got to reschedule. I was like, yeah, whatever. And then I just was over it. All right, so here comes our little counter trend move. This could be the beginning here on the 10,000 chart. And guys, whenever I say 10,000, that means 10,000 contracts create each one of these bars for our lower time period chart. And over here, 50,000 contracts create each one of these bars for our higher time period. I would agree with that, Aaron. Like, there are many nights where I say, look, I don't have clarity today, so be careful. But there are many nights where I say, hey, look, I really feel that this is probably going to go down or up, and those are pretty spot on. I mean, they're not always right, but I would say the majority of the time. And some good trades too, typically overnight, especially on the clear calls. Last night, Nasdaq is what I was very clear on the ES flash, and then that's why I said, okay, Nasdaq's probably going down too, because they're going to be correlated, and ES is what tipped me off. Had Nasdaq had a flash up there also, I would have been a little bit more willing to throw something on overnight. But it's fine. There should be good trading today, good volatility today. Yeah, you should do that. We got a guy here in Discord, Rafa. His name is Scalper, and you can check his when you join the Discord. Up at the top public section of the Discord, go to VPE Strategy Wins, and then look for Scalper, username Scalper there, and you'll see he does something similar. He's developed VolPro Edge, and he's got a scalping system that he uses off of the, I don't know, the 13 EMA and something else. So he kind of just modeled it to his own system, and he's doing really well. So sounds like you could do something like that as well. And yeah, if you use the end of day analysis just to keep yourself on the right side of the market, it's going to eliminate a lot of bad trades, right? So far we're just getting shut down out of these live pockets. You know, I'm waiting for a little bit of a relief rally here. Aaron, you're still waiting too, right? You wouldn't chase down here. And this is the power of community, especially the type of community that we have here, is that, yeah, I'm doing the end of day analysis and kind of, telling everybody what I think is going to happen the next day. But then we've got a ton of people in chat in different parts of the world, overnight in Asia, London, whatever. And they're talking, they've all taken the course. They're using the same charts and indicators, and they're talking through all their trades together, which, there's a lot of power in that, right? Especially as everybody gets better at their own analysis, which is what's happening, which is awesome. Yeah, Aaron, did you just short that momentum break? Oh, wait, let's see. Cool, Zuhair, nice. Yeah, do that, man. Go check out his stuff, Scalper. Aaron, I'm short 19,263. Nice. Nice short. Yeah, good. Well, this will definitely, if you tie this to what you're doing, I mean, it's going to help because you're going to be on the right side. You can just run your strategy on the right side of the market, more often. Johan, good day, my friend. Or good evening to you, I guess, right? In Denmark. NQ has quite potential to drop. 345 play negative and 4 as well. Yeah, I'm looking at short rallies, Johan. I'm just trying to get a little bit of a good entry, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe this thing just goes straight down 1,000 points. To start at the open, I wanted to get short up in here somewhere, but it just couldn't give us that much. Target 18.7, not that I believe that bad. Yeah, I mean, it could, man. What do they say? It's an escalator up and an elevator down. Well, I think I started this stream by saying that I think there are a lot of people off sides today because, the way this closed yesterday and then just bang, there's a lot of people that are going to be freaked out by this now. And it's similar, Johan, to this move here that I called back on March 15th. I think we're going to see something like this, like a pretty big drop over the next couple days. And this is the start. So should be some good trading. Clarity is back. And just have to try to get in on a little bit of a bounce here. So any updates, developer? Yeah, Tim, he's right there. He's already built the server. He's got all the indicator. Everything's working on our side. So now what we're trying to figure out is when we send, we've got the DLL file. So when we send the request to Sierra Charts to pull the data and then load everything, there's something in there that's not communicating correctly. So he's trying to figure that out. And as soon as he figures that out, they're done. So we're right there, Tim. It's just, we knew that there would be something that would happen during, when we're trying to deploy it, but we're there. And good on my developer. He's got COVID and he's still developing for us through his COVID. And guys, he's got a full-time job. So it's not like, he doesn't sit and develop for me like, 8 hours a day. He just, works on it as much as he can with his other stuff. Stacy Burke. I don't know who that is. I think I've heard his name. A long time ago, I saw that guy. He's like a Canadian guy, right? Ralph, VP will keep you out of mistakes right off the bat without even understanding a lot about strategies. That's what I found. My results this month have been best. Yeah. I mean, that's key. Just eliminating, really, really dumb trades and having some sort of a system to follow will help you do that. Nice, Johan. Good job, my friend. A good finish to the month of April, Johan. Yeah, Aaron, where'd you get out? You shorted at 62. I mean, yeah, but I don't know. Look, to me, when the market goes straight down, some people find those markets easy. I don't. That's just, I'm always waiting for pullbacks, and some days I'll get them, and that's great. And some days, especially lately, the markets have just gone straight down or straight up. I don't find that easy to trade, but at least we're on the right side, so we're not sitting here trying to, look for a bottom, right? So Aaron, you got out 217. Well, that's good, dude. What'd you get, like 40 points, something like that? And we got PCE in 18 minutes. Kind of in free fall at the moment. See, this will be like a lot of you. David, are you here, David? David came up. He brought up a really good point yesterday regarding what happens with the DMLs during a trend. And I'm not going to talk about it now because I got to study it a little bit more, but he noticed something interesting. What happens to our core DMLs and the VolPro reaction levels when you're trending, that can give you an idea of the strength of the trend. And trend trading for me, I'll jump on with a pullback, but one thing I need to work on is, going with the trend, from, let's say like, the true average area here, because in a strong trend, the true average or the middle, these are just going to keep pushing the trend, right? But I'm waiting. I'm just like a pullback trader. That's how I've always been. Oh, the trader's taking the, oh, okay, Jan. Okay. Well, anyways, I was giving Johan kudos. I thought, hey, good job. You're taking all your profits. Good finish to the month. Yeah, you're right. They're probably locking in their profits for the end of April. So it looks like it's going to be dump city all day. Definitely. Nice, Suhair. Perfect, dude. That's a great job. Is that on an XFA? Like a funded account or eval? Good job, Jan. See, that's a little bit of a pullback here, but this is where I gotta get more comfortable. I just don't like getting in, this far away from the envelope, but this could very well just continue to drop. 150K XFA, sweet, dude. You're off to a great start. So is that your first day on that XFA, being up, 1.5K or whatever, 2K? Nice, Johan. Oh, the FTMO you passed. Oh, right. The Europeans, you guys can trade the FTMO. That's great. Yeah. 15 months of studying and paper trading. Well, you did it the right way by studying first. A lot of people don't do that. They just come in and start trading and lose a lot of money and then say, oh, gee, either trading's not for me or maybe now I should study. So it's better to flip it around and study first and then try to start trading after. Yeah, well, you're off to a good start. So if that's, is that your first XFA ever, Zuhair? Yeah, but that's good, Gluey. You want to take it slow. That's good to take it slow. That's the way to do it, man. No payout. Okay, well, look, if you're up 2 grand on that right now, or 1.5K, or what are you up on that? 2K? 11K. Well, that's fantastic. So you're getting close to a payout then. I mean, you do what you got to do, but since you can only take $5,000 on your first payout there, I would, at that point, if you're up 11, I would just go for my $200 days. Just trade very conservatively. Go for your $200 days, lock them in, be done, and secure that first payout. I've seen too many people, they want to build that account too big and then they F it up. Once you build some cushion, get those $200 days and get that money in your pocket. Yeah, nice job. That's good. 11K. All right, see Aaron. Good trading, man. Nice job. All right, see if we can get a little bit of a bounce. That's fantastic. Well, and now your real trading in your XFA seems to be matching that. So you found something that's working, which is awesome. Great job. Yeah, base hits. It's the way to go. So now I'd just be looking for, evidence of a congestion resistance zone. Well, you're off to a good start. That's for sure, Zahar. So there's your pullback. Um, right here, I'm not going to short just yet. I kind of like, waiting for a little bit. That's the congestion entrance bar, and we may just dump from here, but I want to see if it can push a little higher. PCE, yeah, 10 minutes exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm always like, okay, do I get in on a trade like right before PCE? Because I'm gonna have to close it before PCE anyways. I'm not gonna take that risk, right? So we'll see. I mean, if we got something really good, I could potentially take it before PCE and then close it before PCE. We'll see. Got about so these are gonna close together. The 50,000 here and the 10,000. They'll close here in about 7,000 contracts. Had a good little long call in Power Hour yesterday. I got shaken out for a 10-point loss, but The call was good. It was like one of just see if I can find an example. It's kind of like one of these little examples where, let's say on that bar there, you buy and it did one of these things where it just flickered down, went up, and then did exactly what I thought. So when I saw it breaking down, I thought, I'll just get out. Because I like the moves where it's like this, where I get in there and I'm stopping it here. I just like to see it go. And, oftentimes it'll go. And sometimes when I see it breaking below the low and I cut it, it's like good. I kept my loss small and it kept going down. I'm happy about that. But then sometimes, it'll shake you out and reverse. And, it's like that happens. That's trading. We got PCE in about 8 minutes, 9 minutes. What's the latency, you guys? You can see my clock up here. I got 9:51 and 20 seconds. And I'm going to take the this one off here in a second. I don't really need that on this lower time period. I like having the daily value area high and low, daily point of control. It's not necessary over here to have the smaller value areas. 40 to 30 seconds. That would be off the charts. Guys, usually we get 2-second latency here. Are you guys getting the same thing? Let's do a clock test. Atomic clock. You guys, here is my time right now. Well, let's just look at Eastern, 9:52 and 47 seconds. So check your latency here on your clock. Okay, well, that's far away, Zuhair, so maybe time is running slower down there. Just kidding. Okay, so Timnasi, 2 to 3 seconds. That's good. That's what most people's usually is. Cam, what's up, dude? 2 to 3. Gluey, okay, Gluey's in Australia too. He's got 2 to 3. Okay, so that's good to know. So if you're getting that kind of latency, Zuhair, I don't know what's going on, but that's pretty standard. Is about 2 to 3 second latency, which is what we're getting. So that's good. Cool. All right, we got about 6 minutes until PCE. I'm just gonna chill out and wait for PCE. See if you can shake things up and get a big bounce going. That would be nice. Cheers, Adam. Saw your message in the chat there. Wraith in the VP strategy wins, just caught the Nasdaq pre-New York drop. Nice. Wraith, are you in here? Is that one of you guys with a different Discord name? Oh, cool. Nice, man. Good job. Yeah, so if you scroll up in that, Zuhair, you'll see scalpers. He's got some examples further up. I believe he explains, or he might have only done that in the members there. I'm not sure. You can kind of see what he's doing in there. But then he really goes over his strategy. In the members area, he posts some videos, and he's a scalper. Buddy, good morning. Hopefully you can hear me. Oh, that was my own feed on my other screen. All right. So the 50,000 just closed. Kind of hoping the PCE will shake it up a little bit. Just checking my own calendar here. I use Trading Economics. I use this calendar, guys. because the market watch calendar and some of the other ones don't really give all the info. This one does. You see Wednesday, April 30th. So GDP 830. We had Chicago PMI at 45. Now we got the PCE. That's a big one at 10. And then oftentimes you'll see the bond auctions here at 1 p.m. You got to look for those guys. If you ever see like a bond auction at 1 p.m., just know that like it comes out like one minute after 1 p.m. Eastern. And you know, if you're ever sitting there in the middle of the day and you just see like a 100-point move out of nowhere at 1 p.m., check your bond auction calendar. That's definitely what it is. All right, so we got 3.5 minutes till PCE. Let me just refill my coffee. All right, we got the coffee. I ran out of coffee. I forgot to buy some more at the grocery store yesterday, so I was lucky. I had some old coffee from yesterday in my pot that I could warm up. It would not be fun to be coffee-less. I think there'll be lots of good short setups today on the 10,000. Just wait, pick the spots. That's how I'm going to run it. But if you guys who are running TradingView, you see anything you like on your 5-minute, your 15-minute, whatever it is, just let me know. You can take a look. All right, we've got 2 minutes until PCE. I mean, that's going to be a biggie. I think that's the Fed likes watching that for inflation, so something's going to happen. I mean, I don't see inflation coming down here in Costa Rica. I don't know about you guys, wherever you are, but I go to the grocery store. I spend, I don't know, 50 to 100 bucks and don't get very much. I went to dinner last night with my buddy. You know, we had some nachos, a few pina coladas. It was $170. You know, so I don't really see inflation coming down where I'm at. But be interesting to see what you guys are seeing in different parts of the world. I mean, when I was in Sweden and Spain, the grocery store and the restaurants were way cheaper than Costa Rica. The rents too, you know, in Spain you could get you're in Sweden too. If you want to rent something nice, the money goes a lot further. Maybe it's because Costa Rica is closer to the U.S. and Canada. All right, so PCE, 40 seconds. Oh yeah, I bet you Iceland's probably pretty expensive, right, Adam? I can imagine. Well, that's the thing. I mean, after COVID, the inflation everywhere just went through the roof. And now with this trade war, I mean, supply chains will get shut down. I think that's just going to exacerbate the inflation situation, right? Things are they're just inflating. I don't know. All right, 4 seconds. There it is. There's PC. Woo! Look at that, guys. If you're in a trade right now, you're very brave. Looks like, I mean, the 50,000 just like looked like it's trying to put in a flash down here. Wow, that's crazy. 6 to 7%. Yeah. What are rent prices like if you took a place like mine, Adam? Okay, I'm right on the beach. It's nice. Um, like it's big, 2 bedroom, 3 full bathrooms, private beach access. So like with electricity and all that stuff, I probably pay like 2,200 a month, which for LA standards is pretty reasonable. But what would you pay for like 150 square meters, 2 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms in a good part of Reykjavik in US dollars? All right, we're getting a little bit of a pop here. See if we can get a little counter trend rally to try to get short. Nice, Johan. Very brave, my friend. I'm not as brave as you are, that's for sure. So here's a little pullback into a pocket. I, we'll see where this closes. We're at the true average here. About 1,000 contracts left to trade. If this closes underneath the extension, I'll probably have to take my first shot. It's a little dangerous coming out of this. I'll let you know. All right, I'm short. I'm not crazy about it. Just because of where we are. Like I'd want to see the selling come in pretty immediately. Like I want to see big selling come in. All right, I'm closing it for a very small loss. I was short from 67. I don't think it's a bad place to get short. I just don't like how it got picked up that first bit at the middle of the envelope. I would have wanted to see it drive down harder and faster. It still might do that, but I'm just being picky. Because when you're down 600 points like we are right now, sometimes you can just get some violent, reversal rallies. And I'm aware of that. So I'm always just trying to pick my spots and be careful. Yeah, I'll catch up on your guys' comments in a sec. It's tempting. I mean, it's a nice little pullback there. It's just where we're at in regards to this big drop. I mean, if we squeeze a little higher, it's just, in my view, going to be a better short higher up. I mean, if we could get a quick 2-bar push up here, that'd be nice. So let's see here. Iceland, yeah, 6-7. Wow, that's crazy. Crazy prices on rentals there, Adam. And it's freezing and dark half the year. The news site was Trading Economics, Johan. You can rewind the video and look at the website address. Cam, pretty nice pocket on the TradingView 15. Okay. Got out 180. Nice, Zuhair. Thank your timing instead. Give it a bit more time. Watching. Don't act like a team. Yeah, I just we'll see what happens here. Well, those DMLs held nicely. Short again. If we get above that true average, I'm cutting. All right, I'm cut. Because this right here, this is what I felt. This was a little tricky here for me because I thought, okay, if this holds here, we could be rolling over back down, close inside the envelope underneath the true average. But then right when that started to break, I kind of had a feeling this would start. So took another small loss. This is how I manage it on these days. It just kind of looks like it wants to squeeze higher here. See if we get a good opportunity up here. So I'm only down 350 bucks on those two trades. I'm on one contract. And that's because I just want to keep that wrist tight. At least you guys get to see. That's kind of how I like to manage it during New York. Like I'll pick my spots, and if I see something that I don't like, I cut it. Try to keep the losses small. So let's catch up here. Yeah, exactly, Ralph. Yeah, I like the idea of shorting, but just got to try to get in on a good spot. All right, Andy, heading out. 1 to 3 trades. Nice, Zuhair. Happy for you, bro. Yeah, there'll be a good short at some point. You just got to find it. I mean, maybe this is it. I mean, if these core DMLs hold here, with this flash and we're underneath the true average here, especially if this DML can move up, I'd probably have to, you know, try it again, but I'll wait for the close. I mean, I'd much prefer this to spike up. How did PCE come in? Let's check. Yeah, Johan, if you go to tradingeconomics.com, you'll get the calendar here. You got it? Trading Economics. That's the one I like. So let's see here. 10 a.m. PCE came in at core PCE actually. Yeah, it's a good calendar. Okay, it's not showing what it came in at yet. Weird. All right, so now this is kind of just pushing. We've got a little bit of a counter trend going here. I mean, I'm not going to short this because we're breaking all these DMLs, but you know, on a day like today, this could still get gobbled up and shorted back down. But I gotta wait. I gotta follow my system, so I want to wait till I have some good DMLs to lean against. Pretty strong close there, but you're right at a pretty good resistance level on the 50,000. That could be an exhaust for a reversal down, but I'm not shorting because we broke all this. So I got to wait. All right, CAB, see Adam. Good trading, man. Good job to take advantage in London during your time zone. So you can see here on the 50,000 up in here, I mean, extension, trend DMLs, middle of the envelope. If we were to get back up in here, I mean, I think I'd view that as kind of a gift on a day like today. So I'm just watching, guys. I'm getting a little more comfortable trading on stream. It's a process, something to get used to. I feel like slowly it's coming. Let me just grab my water. All right, guys, got the water. So, yeah, I mean, this is kind of what we want. Just hanging out, staying patient. How you guys doing? That's why also, like, during the stream here, guys, if you're gonna, I want to teach you to take your own trades, but if you're gonna follow me, just be aware that, there's latency of 2 seconds, which, can be a lifetime in trading. And, I'm cutting stuff quickly. So just keep that in mind. See, Market Watch has what the PCE came out at. Tuesday, Wednesday, Wednesday. PCE. Actual. Yeah, it's weird. So I guess the actual. Oh, I see now. Okay, the actual. So the core PCE, which is what they look at, came out at 2.6. And the previous was 3. So they're saying core PCE year over year had a pretty nice drop. So that could be, positive for the Fed saying, oh, okay, well, inflation's coming down. So we have some ammo to cut now. So that could be that. Could be why we're seeing the start of a little rally here. Short would be in shortly, I would say. Yeah, they do tend to do that, Jan, for sure. Yeah, I like up here. I'd be willing to give it a run. It'd be nice on a day like today if that year over year core PCE came in a little hotter. All right, Gluey, good night, dude. Sleep well. Gluey's in Australia. So you got a nice little pullback here on the 50,000. Could be some resistance here at the 50,000 level. I'm going to be patient and wait because the 10,000 is not confirming. And with that soft year over year PCE, we could see a bigger bounce than we think, guys. Reminds me of the other day when I got caught here. You see this pattern here, guys? Right here. This is kind of similar. This is scenario analysis. You see down, 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 bang, and then this pop here, right? Well, I didn't short that, but then when we got up to that extension, I was looking short, and then that's where I lost some money on my Tradeifys, but then I made it all back at the reopen here, plus a lot more. So that was fine. But look, this pattern here, this is kind of similar to what we're seeing right now. Keep this in your mind. Put this in your mind's eye, guys, right here. Look at the VolPro reaction resistance levels. Look at all this. Now, if we go to where we're at currently, it looks similar. It's not, it's a little more biased over here. Biased meaning we did enter congestion up. We broke the extension. So this was more biased for sure. This one here, we didn't technically enter congestion. And you have the extensions way up here. But still a pretty strong close there. And now we're trying to go for congestion entrance to the upside. So, But I think because this didn't technically enter congestion, if we were to get a little flash up in here, I'd probably have to take a stab at it if the congestion DML held. But if it doesn't hold, the next spot I'd be looking for would be up here at the extension. So this is kind of how I use the DMLs, just go from one setup to the next setup to the next setup. And then, so for example, for you guys, you know, here, why did I take this? Well, the playbook on this was that the 50,000 is in a very strong trend to the downside. So I was looking to short the congestion resistance high here, you know, for a move back to at least these lows down here, you know, if not lower. But that would have been, so that was the idea there. The reason I took that was the congestion playbook on the lower time period, because I'm trying to pick the side with the prevailing trend, right? So that's why I took that. And now here, you know, if this congestion DML holds and you get like a nice flash here or something, I'd have to make a decision if I wanted to short that. Well, then I'd be going against this trend, but that's because I'd be betting on the congestion resistance level here holding, and then I'd be betting on, you know, trend reversal here for a move at least back down to the middle of the envelope, right? So then that's how you start to swing the playbook back and forth. So there's a pretty nice little flash here into what could be a good resistance level. So I'd probably have to try to short this depending where it closes. We're right at the daily point of control here. Doesn't really influence my decision making. It's just good to know. I mean, you could see the footprint here. You know, it's sometimes the footprint will give a little bit of clues. I mean, I'm happy with the way I manage risk on that, you know, to get out, to give myself a couple of shots there. And I had good reasons for that trade, but I'm happy with, you know, I just traded it objectively, managed my risk, and didn't take too much damage. And that's how I like to do it. And now just on to the next one. I mean, that really weak year over year PCE reading could be sort of a fly in the ointment today in terms of, you know, this market may stabilize on that number because that number was weak. And the way that the market will interpret that is, okay, good, that's coming down nicely. The Fed can step in and cut anytime. So the market's going to like that. Whereas if it was a hotter than expected PCE, oh, inflation's still high. Ooh, Fed can't really cut. You know, you'd have seen this market fall a lot further. So I don't trade the news, but when I'm trading and important news comes out, obviously I need to be able to understand what it means in the overall context. So right now you can see we're breaking, right? This could be trapping some shorts. Johan, did you go short? So I wouldn't take this flash right here on the 10,000 because we're breaking the congestion DML for now. You know, maybe we'll close back down below it. And if we do, I'd have to make a decision. But to me, this market looks strong right here for now. Not that I'd long it, but it just makes me more leery to short. This is a nice flash, but I can't short that because this is, you know, we had doesn't mean it's not going to drop, guys. You know, my crystal ball, I left it at home in LA. But, you know, the fact that we had that resistance there, right? It didn't respect that at all. And now it's closing above the congestion DML. It's not respecting that at all. So, yeah, this flash could have some reaction on price, but I don't want to let the tail wag the dog, right? I don't want to go short here, the flash, when I don't have a reason for it on the higher time period. Does that make sense? So that's why, you know, that's one of the keys is, you know, knowing how not to get sucked in, right? So now it kind of feels like there's a little bit of a squeeze on, you know, would I go long here? No, but I think it's going to keep pushing, like I've said. But soon it might be squeeze city. I mean, let's see. I would say the fact that the 50,000 volume chart, this is the daily chart on TradingView here, we're sucking back up here. I mean, the lows of the day could be in. Because look, we tagged the congestion right here on the weekly. Remember? I mean, that held right there. That's a support level. Very, very big VolPro Edge support level right there. That held. That so far was the low of the day, and now we're sucking back up. So are the lows in for the day? They could be. And that weak PCE reading is probably the catalyst for that. Yeah, I think pretty decent flash on hourly ES. Yeah. Well, you know, yeah, I think I'm not going to be averse to taking longs in strategic spots because it just looks to me like, you know, this is a pretty good recovery on the back of that PCE reading, softer than expected. And like I just laid out, you got to look at, you know, what's happening. Well, all this resistance that we talked about is breaking. Like, I mean, the 10,000 is not respecting it at all. So, you know, you can imagine there were a ton of people short here, and that could be some nice fuel to keep pushing this thing higher. So would I get in on a pullback here, trend run to the upside on the 10,000? Maybe, because there's a possibility that we go back up here to 19,360 at least. So, you know, I look at that and go, okay, if I can get in at like 19, whatever, 260 and try and ride it for 50, 60, 70, 80 points. Got to be careful. I mean, I'm aware that it could just start re-dumping, but we also have to look at what the chart's doing in front of us. So I was kind of looking for something like, you know, on this here, when that pulled back and I didn't take it because PCE was coming out and yeah, I mean, I didn't really have an extension to lean against there. But anyways, what happened there, that's what I was looking for here. So I was just looking for like a repeat of that. Could have happened, didn't. I think so, Tim Nasi. It's definitely squeeze time. Yeah, it's some big news coming out. Johan, for sure. Could have some temporary resistance up here, guys. You've got the extension. You got these cores kind of hanging out here. So 360, you know, could cause a little reaction. I'm going to be very careful from the short side with this squeeze now. I'm kind of more in favor of longing the squeeze on pullbacks if possible, because it just looks like a lot of shorts could be stuck. Let me know if you guys agree. Should we take a poll? Let's take a poll just for fun. Engage with your audience. I got to get better at this. Start a poll. Okay. Yes, no. All right, there's the poll, guys. We got to have a little fun while we're here, right? Answer the poll. Let's see what we all think. My answer, well, I don't want to give you my answer. You know my answer. I don't want to tilt the poll. So there's a nice little flash. It's kind of, this is what's called like an extended flash, right? Any of these extensions. I wouldn't short this again because I think we're squeezing here. So, but if this was good enough to cause a little bit of a pullback to get long, I would definitely consider that because I do kind of feel we're in squeeze city right now. Yeah, we got 5 votes, 100%. The shorts are effed. I agree with that, guys. All right, I'll end the poll. Those who want to participate participated. So, yeah, it's kind of been trapping everybody, Ralph. Like on certain days, shorts are trapped. Other days, longs are trapped. It's just, you got to be nimble in these markets. And, you know, we've been nimble, which is good. I still think we got some room to push higher. So I would entertain a long here if we got a nice little pullback on this trend run up. See if we get lucky and get a nice pullback and suck some more shorts in so we can get long. And I know the bias for the day was short, and you know that worked. But now, you know, with what we're seeing on the charts here the rest of the day, I don't believe that's the bias. All right, Yon, I bet you $5. Except I think it's probably going to go that way too. So we're on the same side of the bet. No, I take it day by day with my analysis. I try not to read too far out in the future. So see if we can get a little pullback. I mean, when the squeeze is on, it's tough because it doesn't really give you, you just got to kind of go in and hold your breath. Got to ask yourself, are we early in the squeeze? I guess we could be. My daughter just started her new school, you know, and you know how it is when kids like 5 years old, they go to school and like one day like the kids are like friendly, and then the next day they're kind of like, you know, she's got to like come in as the new kid. Feel bad for her. She's very social and friendly, but be nice when she settles in with her new friends. Yeah, and NFP is going to be a firecracker, that's for sure. Comes a little bit of a, see what happens here. So if we were to close down here in a pocket, I'd probably have to go long. I'll just watch this, Dave. I'll get to your question in a sec. Because I think we want to push up to at least that extension. So if we get a pullback down here, I'm going to have to take a long. But again, guys, I'm going to manage it carefully. If I take it and it's wrong and I see it quickly start dumping, I'm going to cut it. When I trade the Nasdaq, I like to get in on spots where if I'm right, you know, I get in and then everybody else comes in. So we got about 1,000 contracts left to trade. I'm looking for something down in here. I'd like it down in here because that's also where all that is. I like it a little lower, like kind of down in here. You do have a pocket here. That could be all she wrote. I'm waiting a little more. It's getting picked up pretty good. There could be support here. I'm just waiting a little bit. I might miss it, but we just haven't. I want to come back to the breakout area, which is like right here. Yeah, that could be it. It's probably it right there. Just give me 1 second, guys. All right, guys, we're back. What did we miss? Nothing. Okay. So let's see. Now I'm a little bit, on the fence because if this was a true short squeeze, you know, I I don't know if you'd see congestion entrance on the 10,000. So right now I'm just kind of in careful mode. Doesn't time go by fast, guys, when you're watching these charts and you're just dialed in? I mean, we started at 9:15. It's been an hour and a half. It feels like it's been 5 minutes for me. Really strange. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like dialed in. Okay, well that got picked up. That's kind of what I've been thinking. If this is going to squeeze higher, this really shouldn't go for congestion entrance down right here. And if this closes anywhere in here, I got to make the decision to try to long it or not. I'm going to close here in about 800 contracts. Oh yeah, there it goes. So we are squeezing. Yep, that was the chance down there, but I still wasn't. I don't know, this is not easy on this kind of reversal, but here we go. Look, at least we're on the right side, right? Trying to make good decisions. I think it'll probably blow straight through this extension, is what I'm guessing. Question is, if we're going to squeeze, are we going to squeeze, all the way back up? I mean, I don't know. We could, but I don't think this is going to be one of these squeezes, where it goes back. I think you're probably just going to range around here for the rest of the day. You might see something maybe this will. I don't know if this is going to push all the way back up here today. I don't know. I don't think so. My guess is that you're probably going to see, a lot of support in here and a lot of resistance in here. And you're probably going to see this play out in congestion here the rest of the day. That's my guess. So I'm probably just going to wait and see. Right now I'm down $350. I'm cool with that because, yeah, I took my shot there. I'm happy with the way I managed the risk. And I'm still going to be looking for setups, but I'm going to be looking for evidence that that range is playing out and then pull out the range strategy. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to call it, but I'll tag you in the Discord. I'll tag everyone when I see. I'm just going to be watching now as I do other activities around my house. I got stuff I got to do. I'm going to be looking for 50,000 volume closes here, and then when I see something I like, I'm going to start, putting on the range bound playbook because I don't see this thing squeezing all the way back up here, and I don't see us, bombing out anymore. So I think we're just going to chop around. So let's see how that plays out. Thanks, Jan. Thanks for being here, guys. That was a good stream. I think we got a lot of good stuff accomplished. And I'm gonna keep trading, but I got other things I got to do while I'm watching the charts. And I will keep you guys posted. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you guys at when I'm posting things. We got end of day analysis later on today. And just keep doing it one day at a time. And yeah, I'm gonna keep taking risk on these tradeifys. So whatever I see today that I like, I will post and see how we do. All right, thanks you guys. Cheers. Thanks for being here. Value you guys a lot. Appreciate all your comments. Oh no, Dave, you had a question. Let me get to Dave's question. Sorry, Dave, I forgot. You still here? Question from the newbie. I know you're looking for the short based on your previous comment, but are there any indications that would have made you want to capitalize on this upward flash? Hey, Dave, good question. You mean like at what point in the move, Dave? Yeah, like basically, I was looking for the short when for me it was still pretty good. We were trending down. Didn't really have any reason to think, that the market wouldn't still be under pressure. So when this pulled back here to that congestion resistance level, it was pretty, I liked it. That's why I took it, but managed the risk well there. And then, basically, I didn't have any indications until about, because I didn't know this could have been strong and knocked us back down. But as soon as this started to break, that's when I had that indication that, okay, this is probably going to be a squeeze. And this pullback here, this is the one I was interested in to get long. And for me, this makes a difference because had we come down here a little bit more, let's say this is what I was looking for. We closed there at like 292. I was looking for something down into like 268, right? Because if we go down to 268, what that's going to do is it's going to bring this VolPro reaction support level, instead of being flat like this, when they're flat, they tend to want to get taken out. But if you get a nice pocket like that, which is what would have happened if we closed down there, that's the one I would have wanted to buy for, a retest of those highs. So that's what I was looking for. I hope that makes sense. And a lot of it is as you start to put together the types of trading, the multiple time period analysis, the patterns, you'll start to see these things as they unfold. But I hope that answers your question. There is no indication down here at the bottom for me. But then that's where you've got to be objective, right? So you see how as I take my loss, yeah, no problem. As I take my loss here, you notice that as this starts pushing higher, I'm not pissed off about my loss. I don't have to get it back. Like I'm just trying to stay as objective as possible and just read what VolPro Edge is telling me and wait for the next setup. And that's what I did. And it was almost right there. But there are going to be more setups today, guys, and I'll let you know what I see and what I trade, and I'll post screenshots for you. So there you have a nice little pocket resistance right there. I don't think I would short this yet because I don't think this is going to be the high of this congestion range. I could be wrong, but I'm going to wait just a little bit just to let this market establish its new range, and then I'll know what I want to do. So, all right, you guys, take care. Thanks for being here, and I will see you guys in the Discord. Cheers.